Y'all smell that? The Oklahoma Wild Man smells some new releases, baby. Ah, that's right, baby. Up first, we've got the Model A. When this baby was under construction, how she looked for a long time. We got the side profile view, no hood, no caps. By golly, if you ask me, that's what a hot rod looks like. Let me see. Yeah, looks like a hot rod. Of course, we got my favorite, the Flying Steely. We might have a little bit of scallop action on the back. This thing right here is a limited edition. And because the Model A wasn't necessarily a channel favorite, there's a very, very, very small run of these things. So if you want one, you better get one. Because when they're gone, they're gone. Oh yes, do you have exquisite taste like I? Well, then you may want to get you one of these babies right here. I love the Flying Steely. Been waiting for the perfect one to run wild with. Add some pinstriping, a cool new font of the puddins.fab.shop on the front. Check that out. Hubba, hubba, hubba. I mean, how can that not get you excited? Woo! Can't wait to rip the sleeves off this one. These right here, exact same as those. Very few in stock. Only time you ever be able to get them. For those of y'all who did love the Model A build, those right there is a great way to support the channel, support the Model A build. We cannot thank y'all enough for that. Now, let's say the Model A wasn't your cup of tea. Well, good news is, we've restocked a couple of our classics. The classic sitting on your ass won't finish your project, and the notorious Mama Didn't Raise No Punk. A couple times a year we try to restock those because we always get requests for them. Generally speaking, our t-shirts go fast, guys. So if you want one, you better hop on them. What if t-shirts ain't your thing? If you're into stickers, we got some new releases. The Box Truck Mafia ones never got released. Of course, we got the Model A. Man, is that a good sticker right there. Let me drill for a second. Sorry, clean myself up here. The Flying Steely and the truck we're working on this go around. And I've got better news for you. For this month, first time we've ever done this, we're gonna move a lot of stickers. I'm gonna slash the prices on all of our stickers down $1. So if you're into the sticker bombing, right now is the time to hop on some stickers. We're gonna have our stickers marked down to the end of this month. I just made that up on the way over here. My wife's gonna be thrilled to know she's gotta go in and change every price on every sticker. I like to keep everybody on their toes, except Theo. He prefers to be on his belly. We have about 30 of these left in stock. These are limited edition, and we got about the same amount of these side profile view of the GMC we're working on in this video. Again, these last 30 or so, when they're gone, these will never be printed again. A great way to support the channel is through our merchandise. I get y'all good quality merchandise. You support my family, many Oklahoma families right up the road in Stillwater, Oklahoma, who hand print and package and all this. And from my family to you, thank you guys for the constant support here. It literally means the world to us. Now, I hope y'all enjoy this video. Hey, good looking. Am I talking to y'all? Am I talking to me? I'm talking to that old sexy Model A behind me. Maybe I'm talking to the old GMC. Maybe I'm talking to Theo's newly constructed house that he just made with his own paws. Well, Theo loves him a good box. The answer was D. I was talking to all the above, I think. So as y'all can see, we got the old GMC. And this truck, if you're new and you haven't seen it, this is a long bed with a beat up bedside that come with this place. And I cut it down to a short bed. We did some color matching on paint. We lowered her down, went through suspension, brakes. She's got a fresh interior and AC even. And I gave this truck to a good buddy of mine, Randy. And Randy's just been daily driving this sucker since. I mean, literally, this thing gets driven so much. I'm so glad he puts some miles on it. One thing it did not get was overdrive. So one thing it's about to get is overdrive. Randy told me he was gonna swap in a 700 R4 and he'd like to get some overdrive, maybe swap up some gears and stuff. And I just said, hey, I'd love to do it for you on the channel if you'll let me. So Randy got to looking for a overdrive transmission and he came up with this little combo deal of a alleged 5,000 mile, did I say mile twice? Maybe. Small block Chevy. And if she was just 5,000 miles, I'd say she is a rough one. But he had a motor, he did some trade combo where he got this and he brought it over here and I just said, no problem, Randy, that ain't an overdrive transmission. He wasn't planning on finding a motor, so then he got to looking over the motor and he looked right past that was a 350 turbo. But some of y'all may say, how do you do that? I've done it before. I installed a 4L80E. I connected the electronic hookups to the 4L80E, and it never even clicked in my head because I just thought, hey, these trucks come with a turbo 400. So I was saying it's a turbo 400. And Randy, ironically, showed up. And as soon as he walked in the shop, he was like, man, this thing's got a 4L80E. And I was like, never even clicked in my head. Well, Randy got worried about that motor, and he didn't really pay attention to that transmission, and they told him it was a 350 700 R4 combo. So he looked right past the transmission, was looking at the motor, and anyhow, don't worry, I've got him one. I try to keep a core of a 700 R4, took it to my buddy over at the Perez Performance Transmissions, and he got us rebuilt on that baby. And I like that better, especially for transmissions, because now we know what we got. We got something that should be reliable for years to come for Randy in the GMC. So I told him, you know, if you do have this lower mile motor mile, whatever, and you know, we can kind of dress it up. Maybe we can dress it up, get her looking good, and then we can pair it, and then we can just pull that combo, just put a fresh new combo in. And yeah, he kind of liked that idea. So for our motor here, he gathered some goodies. I didn't really know what I had here until I just unboxed all this stuff. Looks like he got an oil pan gasket. Not quite sure why. Looks like you got a thicker timing chain cover. I guess you don't like the rink-dink chrome ones that leak. Looks like he got his intake and some valve covers. We got a gasket set. Looks like what was probably pulled of a distributor out of that 5,000 mile motor. And yeah, a couple other little goodies here or there. So we got a lot of work to do this week. I'm gonna try to get this motor on the stand. We're gonna try to get it broken down, cleaned up. We're gonna try to get some fresh paint, get that motor looking good. We're gonna pair it to that transmission, hopefully get that in there in a somewhat quick time frame. One issue he started having as that suspension continued to settle was the tires getting into the sheet metal tubs, and I guess he found some fiberglass ones that allow for more room. So we're gonna try to get to those if we have time. And with going to overdrive, this truck needs a lower gear. I think it's probably around a 308-ish. I'm just ballparking there. And so we're gonna go to overdrive, but then he wants to put some 373s in it. So I believe he's actually gonna come over on Friday, and he'll be the one doing that. I'll give him a hand and I'll document and I'll watch and I'll learn, but I ain't rebuilt a rear end in like over a decade, and it was a different style than this one. So it's a good learning opportunity for me too. So with all that being said, we've got a ton of work to do this week. Let's start by getting this on our engine stand, and we'll start cracking into it. I hate to question their little 5,000 mile comment, but we may want to investigate it a little bit before we commit to putting it in the old GMC. Dang it, I did not think about our torque converter bolts. Hold it, hold it. Just regular old 3/8 bolts. I'll spin around, get them all. But I'm seeing the work people did on this thing, the fact that everything leaks, and just some of the hardware choices. Not a huge fan. So why was this pulled? The alleged reason everything's pulled, we're just gonna LS swap it. So hopefully that was the case. Whoa, Betsy. ready to go mobile. A little late start today, rearranging some stuff and whatnot. I'm gonna go eat some lunch. Oh yeah, just what I needed, a little energy. Really, dude? I went and ate lunch and you made yourself a sign like we didn't know who you are? I know, you didn't even, I know it was you. You didn't even put it up. How'd you do that with no thumbs? I can't even do a zip tie and I got thumbs. A paw? We know you're a dog. And a bow tie? Really? Yes, everyone has seen your bow tie. Are you making this house a home? Oh, what's next? You gonna sue me for squatters' rights or something? Oh, Theo. You can lay back in your house. I promise I wasn't making fun of it. Watch out. We're gonna pull our balancer so we can do the timing chain cover and all that. So I actually did not plan on doing this cover and oil pan gasket, but I hadn't really looked the motor over. It's just kind of been sitting here. And it's pretty obvious this seal back here has been leaking a lot. The seal definitely did not go bad because someone put a bunch of orange paint on it and then shoved it through there, I'm sure. A lot of fuel in that. Three bolts on our holding our intake right now. No! Mess. I thought I had her shoved back enough where it'd be okay, but it is not. 5,000 miles, but never had an oil change. Could have had a real nice big piece of cardboard to put underneath this engine for just in case moments, but someone had to have a house. So I'm guessing Randy had pulled that intake doing his inspections he was doing. And despite the ugly outside appearance, in here looks pretty clean except for it just looks like some debris fell from when he removed the intake probably. In fact, now that I think about it, I feel like he may have sent me pictures. Right there's a big oil leak that was smashed out like that, and I guarantee you that was leaking on us. She is definitely oiling, plenty of oil up top. Come to this side, I am kind of what I'm just seeing here. Everything looks all right. They were marking on stuff, a little overspray in there, that Chevrolet orange. Had the original gold filter. Oh dang, I'm glad we just seen that. Plug right there for our oil. That's an oil passage that plugs out of there. But don't worry, there's a bolt stuck up in here. Nice little piece of Teflon tape hanging down in there, that's good. Pull our spark plugs. That one's had a rough life. Look at that. That gap's all closed. Look at that electrode. It's been smashed. Even the tip in there. So we'll be getting some new plugs. These are loose, so I'm assuming Randy pulled them and looked in there too. Oh, and this side don't have any. Perfect. I don't really know how much oil we're about to get out of this thing, but we're about to find out. It wasn't the oil that got us, it's all the coolant. And by coolant, I mean water that's clearly full of rust. Nice brown, dark. Just real good looking stuff. Probably pulled this motor because I couldn't keep no oil in it. Ain't got no oil. Hey, didn't have to fight that to get off there. No shocker there. Here's a little bit of watery looking sludge in the bottom. Definitely looks like she had a little bit of water for sure. Gasket was leaking back there. That's just not been pinched down evenly. The gasket, as you can tell, is pretty stinking new. Now down in here, that looks like a new piston to me. We can see pretty fresh looking cylinder walls from the back side. Notice that down in there. That must have fell off our oil pan. I thought I'd grabbed them all. Apparently not. That's what we want down there between the piston and the cylinder wall. That'll go good. I'll be honest, I ain't really been into a motor before. As far as, you know, I don't know what I need to check right now at this point, other than look for obvious stuff like that. I don't know how much lash those are supposed to have, is what I mean. But what I'm seeing by eyeball, she does look like she was a fairly new motor. New pistons for sure. We can see plenty of marking. When you reinstall stuff, you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You definitely do not want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. They were generous with that blue paint underneath here when they were giving the outside the makeover. Got a little bit on all this. Oil pump looks pretty fresh. USA, baby. So maybe she is a good motor and they just didn't get it to seal up good. Hopefully the same people who installed all the covers that leak are not the ones who assembled the engine itself. Maybe they had that done and then they slapped paint on it and then assembled it all. With the timing chain cover off, in here also everything looks really nice. Alright, looks like they were nice and RTV'd this paper gasket on this for me, so we'll get to do a little scraping next. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Scrape that booty. Scrape that booty. See that? Little super scraper Mortsky sells. That thing don't play no games. Those are our water jackets. They're RTV'd as well. And we're fortunate that this thing makes pretty quick work of this. What is that, a booger? Randy, there's a booger on your motor. We're gonna scrape all around where our oil pan goes as well. Get that nice and clean. Little super scraper is the Hucky Puck eraser. Suck her down and wipe her down. The classic suck and wipe. Call me crazy, but yes, I am a Scotch-Briten, our fancy new aluminum cover. Told Randy I was gonna make everything black and he said okay. Of course, that was a long time ago before I even knew I was gonna be doing this, so I'm hoping he knew I meant this too. All black motors just look good, guys. You're not gonna convince me otherwise. Plop our new cover on with our gasket. Got 2 to get us started. Go back, got some lock washers to add to these. I do not plan on RTVing these seals. All of them started. I did slap our little pointer thing on here. We may have to move this. They seem to not line up very well. but we're gonna give our best hoorah. Set our torque wrench, 6 foot-pounds. Oh, those may be metrics. Yep. Obviously the bolts are not the thread, but it takes a 5 mil to fit good. All right. I don't know the torque sequence, so I just kind of hopped around star pattern. Before we put our oil pan back on, I need to clean this baby up. I asked Randy if he wanted me to check anything when I had this open, and he said no, he don't think so, because I guess he actually heard this thing run, so that's good. And besides the inside, the outside here, oh yeah, we got plenty to attempt to scrub off here. May have to call in the super scrapers. Maybe a little brake clean, huh? Shoot, she's practically looking brand new. Well, that plops into place nice. Our new timing chain cover here, the gasket is a super tight fit. It's shoving in there, but we're gonna have to have her lined up dead nuts perfect, or one side's gonna be too short, it looks like. Show you what I mean. By the time I shove that down in there, see how that look shifted that away, and then this one shifted this way. We need to move our center point over just a hair. Put a mark back there, and then just shift her over a hair. Hopefully, third time is a charm. I hope y'all can see down in there and see that now both of them line up a lot better. Yep. Next up, we'll get our bolts all started. That kit comes with new bolts and it's supposed to be hardware. Instead of coming with the bag of washers for these, it just came with 2 bags for the corners because those are slightly bigger. But luckily, that one I lost in the motor I found, and we can use all the old ones from those. Our oil pan, the 1/4-20s. Actually, overall, I'm having a hard time finding images or sequences online for small block Chevy. Technology's so smart that it's stupid now. Can't even just Google something. It's got to give all these AI answers. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going with 9 foot-pounds on these, and I'm started in the center here, and I'm just zigzagging star pattern out. So if I do one here, then I go to this side over here, then I'll hop across to this one, then I'll hop back this one, and I'm working my way down through. Air Force stays right there. I make sure I get my 3 clicks. And get ready to put some heavy torque on these corners. We're gonna get crazy on this. That's right. Just took them all the way up to 12. Now a minute ago, that brake clean seemed to do a good job on that oil pan, so let's give this thing the brake clean all the way around. Now we got the real fun job of just giving everything a little scrubbing and loving. Mainly worried about getting as much of our grease off of here as we can, where our new paint has the best chance of sticking. And with that also, we'll obviously want to get our flaking paint. And then I'll probably have the Scotch-Brite, what does stay on here. We're probably going to try to take some air pressure to this. I bet a lot of this, like on this oil pan, she ain't gonna last versus the air pressure. And that's already looking a lot better though. Cleaned up our other side. Before we flip this back over, get our plug in. I just pulled this same plug out of the spot on my Model A. So luckily I knew exactly where one was. They're flipped back over. There's no shortage of cleaning left to do. I'm gonna keep scrubbing her down. Got this side all wiped down and blown out. I put some earplugs in where spark plugs go, and I taped off the front of her crank. Made sure to wipe her aluminum down, scuffed her chrome with our Scotch-Brite. I know it's not ideal to paint those, so that's why we're actually gonna start there. We're gonna shoot a little bit of primer on them. I know some of y'all saying, well, eventually that's gonna fall off. Yeah, it is. You're right. I think we just proved with that engine there that if you don't just do 100% proper prep work and make sure it's definitely good to go, that eventually paint will come off there. However, this is about how I prep all my engines for paint, and you can look at the one on my truck. It still looks pretty dang good. It's been in there for years and years and years, wagging, all that. It still looks sharp, so there ain't gonna be a lot ever brushing on this motor and knock the paint off of it. I think we'll be okay. Every time I paint chrome or something, people act like it's the first time they've ever seen it. I thought I had some of the gray stuff, but I don't, so some of the olive green is gonna be all I got in stock currently. Self-etching, that works on aluminum too, right? As that sets up, we got our first delivery of parts in. We got the Duplicolor semi-gloss black. Y'all know I love this paint. So why don't you say we get this bad boy shaking. What, you didn't know you're building your house next to noisy neighbors? All right, I figure a little orange paint in there ain't gonna hurt nothing. Neither will a little black. I'll just stay real close there. Not purposely paint everything plumb crazy. Now some of y'all's gonna call us crazy and say we should have went with Chevrolet orange. However, black helps hide oil leaks. So, you know, if this thing would have been painted black in the first place, we may have never even known that whole front side was just gonna be black from all that oil. They've been like, oh man, that's just the paint, don't worry about that. And we want to get down here on the oil pan, give a nice little bead about like so. And by bead, I mean spray. That's because we're gonna let this paint, if that gasket don't seal it up, we're hoping about 3 coats of this paint on there, nice and thick along that oil pan, just like so. That's gonna seal it up. Something's gonna seal it. Thanks to this motor being kind of scuffed on and sprayed down good, that paint seems to be taking a lot better than it usually does to a fresh engine. Something about an all black motor for a driver that I'm just a fan of. That looks so much better. Now I'm gonna go ahead and slap a new water pump on this thing with it out. So for this one, that's the way that comes cast, it's really good for paint. I just like to spray it down with brake clean in case there's any oils on it anywhere. It kind of helps break it all down. Left out them top 2 bolts because when it comes to our accessories, well, she's going to need a couple more long ones. Next step, just like our engine, going to spray down our old balancer here and try to get her cleaned up some. So as y'all can probably tell, and as you've kind of seen here before, guess we ain't really cleaned up an old small block Chevy to paint anyhow. But a lot of this is just clean, wire brush, scrub, brake clean, Scotch-Brite, just whatever you got to do to get it where you're happy for a little paint. This actually looks like it had black paint on it. Well, we ain't gonna clean this too much more because we're gonna be replacing it. I notice right here, all this rubber in here, it's shoving out. It's dry rotted, dry cracked. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. And yeah, that probably shouldn't peel apart that easy. So we're gonna be putting a new one on it. This one's good for scrap metal though. Whenever I painted that pump, I put another coat of paint on everything else. No, don't run out now. We're too close, Betsy. We're too close. Get a little thicker in the corners. And boy, do I hate this part because I'm not good at it. Now we need this to sit straight down on there, just perfectly. That may have been the best sit down I've ever done without making a mess. Yes, sir. Gaskets are good all the way around. I didn't move none. We did a good job finally. Just been trying to do that for decades. Our intake bolts, we're going to 30 foot-pounds. And luckily I could find the pattern for it on Google. Text Randy, asked him if he wants to leave her aluminum or if he wants me to dust her with some black paint. Right now's the time. He said let's leave her aluminum. So as our paint kind of dries, we want it to dry up obviously before we manhandle it too much. I was gonna throw valve cover gaskets on, but that kit came with cork, and I'm gonna get Randy rubber. I wanted to get the balancer on and like the pulleys and stuff, but we need a balancer. So I think we're at a good spot where let's just let this sucker sit and finish drying. The paint looks like it's staying pretty wet. Someone may have put it on pretty thick. I don't know who would have done a thing like that. I reckon it's probably a good time to pull the sucker forward. Let's just start tearing into the truck. I know you heard that thing, just I barely touched that key, just a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Whoever turned this baby out must have been genius. Dang, Randy been parking underneath the old sap tree or what? May have to give this baby a hand scrub in if we get some time. Boy, what a beautiful color that is. All right, we're gonna just pull the hood. I'm gonna circle these washers. Well, they were circled before because, yeah, we've been in this thing before, so no surprise there. I don't want to pat myself on the back too much, but I almost forgot how much I simplified it underneath this hood. I mean, if you just stand back, yeah, it's got air conditioning, but look how just clean and simple that looks. Actually, you're gonna look a little more clean when we get done with it. Let's keep that party going. Couple deep breaths. Now you can see how simple she is and clean. Man, between working on old Roy last week, 4-wheel drive step side, and huffing that hood around, and then this one, I'm about tired of these square bodies. I wonder if there's any signs or symptoms if you've been working on square bodies too much. I heard if you've been working on them too much, you may start to turn into one, a square body. Yeah, I wouldn't laugh at that one either, Theo. That was stupid, I know. I know. I think he threw up a little bit. I've been saving that joke all day, though. Every time I look in the truck, I find more parts. Now, hood bolts, I'm pretty bad about storing up here. The rest of this, we're gonna try to do a little bit better job of. Step 1, disconnect your battery. You do not want electrical fire. Step 2, where do we begin? Just start disconnecting stuff. Yeah, I just put all this stuff on here, and I made sure to like put a lot of that on there because I'm like, that one will never need to come off there. Here we are. I quit being a sissy and pulled a little harder. Got it. Let's disconnect our wire in here. Guess we'll just disconnect anything we can disconnect. How's that? Owie! Ow! You think I'd learn to quit doing that? Smacking the edges of your finger on that little sharp plastic does not feel good. You think I like having fingers that look like that or something? Hey! Up here, pay attention. use that thumb strength. Now a lot of this we plan to reuse because I promise you that black one looks a lot better than that red one. And I gave this thing a full tune-up, so that stuff is new. And all of our stuff done with our motor. I'm gonna just set stuff back here where I know where it's at. How did I know that was gonna spin? Answer, because they always do. You unhook that, boom, boom, boom. Just get this whole fuel system out of our way. Throttle out of the way. We got an oil line we can get. This, of course, is for our oil gauge. Oh yeah, I forgot I gave this thing the delete kit. Welded all that up. Oil gauge out the way. Get our plate put on here. She's gonna sit a little crooked too because she sits up on that little riser thing over there, but that's all right. We may look at starting to pull some accessories. Now our AC compressor, I'm gonna leave hooked up. I don't want to disconnect that and have to vacuum it, recharge it, all that good stuff. AC in this truck's been working absolutely amazing, so we just want to leave it. The problem is, she's all attached to our heater hose that we need to disconnect it and pull it off to the side, and I need to drain this puppy, and to drain it, I need to get a good drain pan. There's our compressor though. Yeah. Finish pulling that lower bolt, and that whole sucker just pops out of there. Pull our one hose clamp off the fuel pump, and that'll pull our fuel supply. Get our ground here. Ah, there you go. Can go ahead and pull our power steering lines too. You usually want to pull that and then go for your drain pan, because that makes total sense. See, that never got tightened back from back in the day because those are both loose. Fell right out of there. All right. It's kind of later on in the evening. I got some stuff I need to get from the O'Reilly's. And for now, without draining our radiator, pretty happy with where we're at. We could put it on the left and get some stuff on the bottom side, I guess. I just looked and we are close to 5 o'clock. We're right at 5, so I'd rather go get the parts I need and get out here bright and early, and we'll hit her fresh. All right, good morning to you. I went and got us a fresh drain pan yesterday. Plan is to keep this one specific to coolant. I had one of these already just for this, and that's what I used it for until it was time to do a transmission, and then it becomes specifically for trans fluid. And I think when it comes to making a mess, I pretty well excel. I don't think there's anyone who can beat me on YouTube. I mean, I try, but dang, I just can't hit a pan to save my life. There we go. Just kind of flip our compressor out the way. Everything else is looking pretty good. Yep, here comes a little more coolant just going everywhere. Not really sure my plan on exhaust. I don't know if I need to pull it down there at the collector, ditch the Y pipe with everything coming out. I don't know if I can separate these and kind of pull them open, be able to slide that out of there. I don't know if I can even get on that one because them little tabs are in the way and I ain't pried those ones out yet. Could have made a bigger mess. That ain't too bad. Let's go up with it. Now underneath here, looks like our transmission's been leaking a little bit. Maybe right there at the speedo, little housing, maybe that tail shaft gasket's out a little bit, who knows. A little bit of oil all over the motor. Yeah, down. Not all, yeah, that's oil right there. She's got a couple leaks, which is one of the reasons why I tried to talk Randy into doing this swap. Was I just knew that this is a good motor, guys. She runs great. You heard her fire right up. But it'd been sitting for a couple decades, so no one's really surprised after now driving it some that she's leaking a little bit. Back towards the back, looks like someone did a really good job boxing this and shortening it down nice and strong. Well, whoever did it did a good job. I noticed we had a couple drips underneath here, and that actually looks like it may be coming out the fill. So maybe I got her a little too full. She may be running a little rich. I was like, dang, half this side is flat black. Holy cow. All right. There's a little pro tip for you. Make that baby run fat and you can undercoat the bottom of your truck. So I drove this around one day. Randy had dropped it off and I took her for a little spin. And it kept loading up on me. I'd have to like floor it to get it to fire back up after I'd stopped somewhere. And I was just guessing the float ain't doing its job of sealing off good, and it's just pouring a little extra fuel to it. And I guess that problem kind of comes and goes, which makes me believe the float even more. Anyhow, let's see what we got to start pulling underneath here. Start at the back, work our way forward. That suspension at full droop, rear end swung too far forward. They'll pick that out of there. So just pick up on her a little bit, that's all she needs. We ain't got no fluid out of there yet, but we start picking up on stuff, and we will. So I'm gonna steal that one right there from our other one we pulled off the motor. Hopefully that'll prevent some spillage. Yeah, trying to do the right thing here and use a line wrench, and sure is hard to get it in there and wiggled on them. Up next, get our cooler lines. Pull that other line, hop up here. We got some wiring on our starter we want to pull. No start with no starter. Pull our motor mount bolt. I don't know why pulling this motor mount made our power steering decide to leak more, but it did. Disconnect our shifter. In fact, we want to pull that out, get it out of our way. Kind of been gathering our parts from the bottom side right in here. Let's maybe try getting the right size. Shit, who would have thought that would help? Transmission is free. We'll probably drop our cross member down. Now, I've never done one of these, so I don't really know what we're gonna have to modify to mount it back in here. But dropping that cross member regardless is gonna help us, because if we can get that transmission kind of hanging some at an angle, we've got a better chance of wiggling it up out of there. Yeah. I hate these cross members. The way it locks to the top and the bottom will really stiffen this up. This side swoops up the outside like so, which is good because these aren't the most strong, non-flimsy frames I've ever seen. I mean, the bottom of this one's stamped all kinds of wonky. This side's got a big old divot right there. So she probably needs a little strength in her life. And we need a temporary cross member, something that can let it hang down some, but not drag the ground. So that's where you want to have your good old-fashioned ratchet strap. Well, I lowered that down and it stopped before it ever got on the ratchet strap, which probably means we've made it to the point of our distributor hitting the firewall. So let's get all the stands removed and we're gonna bring her down. Boy, I messed up not pulling them spark plugs before I pulled that exhaust. Common sense tells you I should have pulled them and I forgot. And now, because the motor's dropped and everything's a little wonky, I can't get this last one out. Just pick up the whole motor, hold that pry bar. Ah, dang it. Watching our motor. Oh yeah, that's what we need right there. Haha, success. Slide the old cherry picker into place. I'm not sure how this is gonna go, especially with the exhaust. I may have to pull that bracket because that's gonna, these shields on here, they'll probably bend easy, but I think the bolts of them's on the bottom side, pretty hard to get to. Kind of bend our dipstick out of the way. I'm just gonna kind of pick up on it a little bit and start easing it up out of there and just kind of see what problems I'm gonna have or won't have. We're gonna have some problems. Well, she's picking up a little bit. Now, I don't mind how our exhaust sounds. But all the stuff on this exhaust down there where the collectors are super rusted. And I know if we pull all that apart, crap's breaking, the chances of it going back together good is pretty slim. Now that side bent and that side bent pretty good. We don't need exhaust shields, do we? Sure, them engineers just put them there because they were bored. Now we're gonna have some problems. And even if that slips past that, how are we ever gonna get that new one in here? And not just plumb scratch everything to, yeah. What am I doing, folks? What am I doing? There we go. Get that mount off that one. Pretty free right there. Yeah! I was gonna say, let's try not to pull that into our new radiator. We may have to pull that radiator. Got wiring to still worry about.
And I looked underneath there. I just want to make sure the transmission wasn't somehow snagged on the ratchet strap. Now the ratchet strap's just right at where the yoke is, so it shouldn't be able to hold us up any. I think it's safe to say we probably should have just pulled the exhaust, because there's no way we're getting this new stuff back in with all that in there. No! Well, that ain't good neither. One of our transmission cooler lines is in a clip. Did not know that. So we've got it plumb bent up now. I bet we can finagle that back into shape though. We got it! Hey! Ha! Oh! I mean, it didn't go super bad. I wouldn't say it went super duper good. We about lost our slip yoke out the back. It caught on the lip of that firewall and about pulled it out of there. That would not have been fun. Now, I do not know this is a better plan than my first one, if not pulling it at all. But we did that plan and it didn't work out, so we should do this one too. Step one, bend that line kind of back down into shape. That's a good plan. Step two, we're gonna cut the exhaust. One side. Yeah. Two side. These seals here are what I don't want to break. Those are going to break off in there. It's going to be a whole ordeal. So I'm hoping where I chose to cut those, we'll be able to get the welder back too. And then we can stab those back in and get on the bottom side and we'll weld them up. If that can work, it's going to be a lot easier to clean these and prep them now, so let's get them cleaned up. Realistically, this truck could have used a new set of manifolds to clean it up and then just build some new exhaust. But sometimes on projects, you just do them as you can go, guys. And I truly believe all the work we've done on this truck, anyone can do it, even in a driveway, even in a little garage. Main thing you gotta have is one, a welder, because we have done some cutting and welding on it. Other than that, basic tools and motivation. You gotta have the motivation. Our old motor mounts, well, they're a little crusty and floppy. So let's pop a couple new ones in here. Getting those bottom ones started is probably going to be a pain. Woo, I got it. I got it. So that bottom one with how that recesses is tricky. I dropped the nut in there, then put a finger on that side, and I worked it around until I got it shoved up on there. Then I swapped to this finger and I drug it over here and then put our bolt in. As you can see, one of these came painted and one did not. Made in USA right there though. Don't worry, I'll help that paint blend. Fresh new motor mount and fresh new motor mount tower. Don't mind that grease, she'll paint. It's a driver, guys. We can make it nice, but it's still a driver, so she ain't a show truck yet. If she's gonna be a show truck, well, we got a lot more stuff to work on. Gotta pull her saddles off the motor. This is gonna be where I start to have a hard time between how much do we actually clean up and paint. It is a driver, it ain't a show truck, but that looks nice now because we had to clean that up. So does that mean we got to clean every accessory along the way? Maybe. We want it nice, but we got to draw lines at some point or we'll be in here for a week just cleaning parts and painting it. And realistically, I'd like to have it running. Not as worried about the tubs being in, but drivetrain swap, truck driving again and all that. We've just got a couple more days to get it done. That's a pretty thick layer, about eighth inch thick in some areas of just oil, dirt, grit, grime that's been accumulating for many a year on this old rig. This is a new wire brush, don't even know where I got it. But she is going to town on that. That little wire brush ain't as effective as the big one, but in there you can't really see anyhow. Got most of it, that's good enough right there. Oh, look at that. She's got a glob. It's got a glob on it. Bring her into the paint booth for one quick coat of paint. They look better than they did. Clean that line up over there. Had to get the rest of this. Stuff's just greasy and oily and a mess. And then we're wanting to handle it and paint it. So you get your hands all filthy, then you gotta get them clean just where you can handle it to go paint it. What's that? You say wear some gloves? Never heard of her. Instead, I use the TKO hand cleaning wipes from the Sweet Patina. Them babies get your hands nice and clean, good enough so we can go do some good enough paint anyhow. If you want to get you some of their good cleaning products or degreasers or Sweet Patina sauces or any of that other stuff, just head on over to sweetpatina.com. Be sure to use that promo code on the screen. Our fuel pump we'd put on, so just shove our little pusher rod up. Got our gasket out of our kit over there, and it's just a swap. Little swapperooey. Here lately, the semi-gloss paint I like sure turns out gloss alike. I think they've got either some cans mixed up, they've got their formula mixed up or something. Because this is supposed to be semi-gloss and this old girl's just a shining. Can honestly say I've never painted a fuel line black before. I ain't mad at it. New balancer came in, lined up our keyways. This one's a bigger diameter. Our timing marks do line up the same. So it's supposed to be for this. We're gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. She's oily. The oily thing. Oh, hear that? Our motor's spinning. We're popping our plugs. Bite our flex plate back there where she can't spin. Oh! So I pulled that back off there because it felt like it was bottoming out. And I just want to look at that distance and make sure it matches that distance. And it's pretty dang close. I didn't check that before, but I think that's good. So I'll just reinstall it. As far as it goes down is where we're going to send it. Our underdrive pulley here, I checked it to the front of this motor. These match. This one's a lot cleaner. It at least had paint on it at some point. Looks like it has at least 2 or 3 layers of paint. We're about to make that 4. I will say, if this is my truck, I don't think I would have went with this color combo. But as this kind of goes together, I'm not hating how it looks. I would have went with a full black motor or a full orange one. Swapping over those orange valve covers and then just painting it all one solid color. It's kind of like the factory look, especially on that truck that you can tell is a little custom, but has a heavy factory influence. Like I said, I'm kind of digging this, so Randy did a pretty good job picking out his stuff. Wait till we get them rusty exhaust manifolds on here to really complete this look. She's gonna look real good. Oh yeah, baby. Proper torque is key, so just give her a few ugga-duggas. What you doing, Sleepy? Oh, big stretch. And then just blend that baby in with a little touch-up paint. If you don't proper torque it, you want to put a little of this on there where it just seals real good and acts like a Loctite. Lucky me. We had to drill and tap that head because it did not have the bolt hole we needed. And it looks like we get to do the same thing here. Punch center. Oh, helps if you actually hit center. Ah, dang it. There's the metal's like pinged right there. So there's, right where the center is, there's an edge. And a little bit of a pain. There we go. Now I got her whooped. Dang it. Scratched our paint already. Drug that right down it. Use that drill to get me started. And then I'll just go kind of slow and steady here. Using plenty of cutting fluid on this sucker too. Quick little touch up, you'll never know I scratched it. Problem is, with this one tight and this one tight, that back there's got a lot of slack when it should be closer than that, because if we suck that back, we're going to start manipulating our bracket. And this time we don't want manipulation in the situation. I was looking at our table here, and these thick washers from our cross member, well, they're just about the same diameter as that, and it was also about the right thickness. So I slapped one of them on there, and I cleaned her up on the wire wheel, but to help make it disappear from being bare metal, we'll just slap a little black paint on her. I guess this is a permanent marker. I was looking for a paint marker, but this is all I had. There we go. Now when he takes it to Barrett Jackson, they'll never know. Can't see it from here anyhow. Slapped our oil filter on. We want to swap over our bushing for our temp gauge. Got our engine saddles on. Our thermostat housing from this side, I just painted it. New thermostat in there, of course. Got her looking good. Obviously, the more we can swap from there to here with it out here is going to be easier than leaning over a fender or core support trying to do it. All right, I've officially made it to the point of doing stuff I shouldn't. These aren't the same black, and they'd sure look a lot better if they all were. But does this really matter? Probably not. Are we running out of time quickly this week because everything's so time consuming? Definitely so. So should we Scotch Brite these and paint them to match our engine? Dang right, baby. Now we really got that spacer in there touched up. Next up, we want to brake clean the trash can. Can't have no dirty trash in the trash. Just playing. I've got our power steering set up down in there. Gonna let it do a little soaking. The pump is clean, so apparently I'd put a new pump on it. I wire wheeled our pulley, and I kind of scraped on our brackets. Kind of what we've been doing on everything else here. Just make sure our pulley's painted good. The fronts of these brackets. Our pump looks fine from being new. I bet old Ace with that rattle can. That's why they call me Rattle Can Dan, baby. Ain't nobody who does it better. They just don't exist. I am him with the rattle can. Looked like someone may have cracked the dipstick earlier where they kind of pulled on it. Oopsie daisy. Boom, right there. We're already on compression stroke. We're in dwell right there because I just felt it spin and the piston did not move. All right, I like to use my borescope and just put it in there and I can literally watch the top of the piston. So we want to set our top dead center, 1, so we can stab our distributor. 2, we may add our little pointer here. Well, I'll be damned, look at that. Our mark pointing right at 0. This is the first one I've had line up in a long time. Go ahead and color that baby in since we got her out. Makes her a lot easier to see when you actually use your timing gun. Oh, dummy. Forgot to eyeball our pump. Nailed it. Good deal. Where we're marked number 1 on our cap is the same for this. I actually wish I had a chrome hold down for this. I think it'd look good on it. Just notice that's threaded and this one is not. Now, interesting enough, when I put this water pump on there, maybe y'all can tell that's been cut. That's because that one was too wide, but that one's not. Damn parts are all over the place nowadays. Don't worry, I got a thread removing device. That's a new one. Can't ever say I've done that before. We're always making custom brackets to make crap work. For this one, that corner there is trying to hit the Allen head of our little chrome pointer thingy. And that's what that needed. Fresh set of AC Delcos for this unit. Gapped out to 45 thou. All right, we are getting closer to some more action. I'm tired of cleaning and painting, if you can't tell.
like. Get ready to marry these two together. And hopefully not until death does them part. Dang it, I do that every time. You'd think I'd learn. Well, that's some dark looking stuff, that old Dextron, what is that, a 6? All right, I like to go for a full 2 quarts in there, which is what I got. I think we're there. Whoa, she was trying. We don't need no stinking leveler. Think I got one started. Woo, that one's starting real good. On the forbidden side, I knew I had a dipstick. I don't remember what it came with or why I have it, but I bet it's gonna work for this one, or I hope it does. I'm gonna try to get her worked down in there. But first, I'm gonna take a teaser picture. That's right, I've opened up my channel memberships after having some people request. I'm not gonna make just bonus footage where you gotta pay money to see this footage. It's just a way for you guys to support. But what I do try to do on there, because I'm usually 2 weeks ahead in here versus when the content goes out, at least on the main channel, I like to put little teaser pics on there of what's to come. But appreciate all the people who's a member on there. Thank you. That was nice and steady, ease it down. And you can see back there, I gotta get that shoved down some more. Oh yeah, I think she slipped. Yes, sir. Right now, it'd actually benefit us to be on that middle circle. That would give our butt a little more drop to it. Hand door, an extra set of hands would help, but we ain't got that. So we're just gonna get creative. Oh, careful. Easy does it. It didn't look like it, but I was holding that just by having my 1 foot on it. Okay, we are in a little predicament. What I'm worried is, I think it's gonna slip in there, but when it falls, I just really don't want to wipe out our radiator. So when we pulled that earlier, we would have eliminated that problem. All right. Just kind of shoved the whole thing. It hopped off the edge. Luckily didn't spring forward enough to get a radiator. We want to put eyeballs down here. We want to get on that if possible, but that's probably wishful thinking. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. I just need another 4 hands. We had to start our alternator belt because it goes behind the power steering one. Just jacked up on that. We gotta be able to clear our mounts down there. Underneath here, got a ratchet strap underneath here. I had to loosen her, but I just picked it up some. We're getting close. I don't know why it's leaning so hard this way. Why are you leaning this way?
Tell you one thing that ain't helping it is we're maxed out here. No! Dang it! I tried the front. I knew it'd be too much angle, but I'm just maxed out on that back one, and I just can't get it shoved back far enough. She's kind of whooping me, and I think I just need to step away. I gave it my best hoorah today. I probably just spent a lot more time on that than it looks like on video, trying to get that happy. So if I can get it here first thing in the morning and get her mounted, we'll get rocking and rolling. We're gonna hit her freshen first thing. Just playing. Y'all thought I'd given up. Yeah, as I went to walk out of here, I seen the jack and realized you never picked up the back side anymore, you dummy. Put a jack underneath there, and letting that rotate forward. I got it shoved back, and that one just fell right over. Now she ain't quite lined up, but we're close. No, don't do that. Right in there, right in there, right in there. Oh, we missed the hole. I got all excited. Dang it. Well, this side's being a booger. All right, I do gotta pick up on it first thing in the morning. Family's waiting on me to go see Grandma. Did y'all hear that noise? That was me whooping this bolt. That's right, I got out here at like 6 a.m. Not knowing how much I was gonna have to fight it. And I had to fight it a little bit, but I got it in about 15 minutes. I think yesterday I was just whooped. So let me get you caught up. Once I got that bolt in there, I just lift the truck up. And the next thing we gotta kinda do is set our transmission, because it's not gonna mount to the factory stuff. Not without modification, which is what we're about to try to figure out. So to set our transmission, we actually need to look at our pinion angle. Properly look at pinion angle, we need a load on our rear suspension. So I jacked up on our jacks until it started to lift her up off the lift. As you can see, that's sitting nice and low like it should be under a normal driving condition. 5.2 degrees, and this little digital thing reads anywhere from 4.9 to 5.2. It's told me 3 different answers. That ain't changed one bit. Over here, I've got our adjuster here. You could also do that with a ratchet strap, by the way. We put that on there, 5.1 degree. So we want these matching, and they're matching. We're not gonna go into too much about that again. I just covered it in the Model A video of why and how it works and blah, blah, blah. So that's where we need that. So I just kind of sat our factory cross member up here in place. I think we'll be able to make something like it work. I did have to use some baling wire, get our exhaust up out of the way, because it was hanging down in here. And then I hauled butt to the O'Reilly's. I was sitting there waiting for them to open because I did not have a transmission mount. But now I got one. So your next mission, soldier, shall you choose to accept it, is to figure out how to mount this baby. And you really don't have an option, go figure it out. Yes, that has a wad of washers. Don't judge me, my metric selection's pretty slim picking around here. Theo, you got any metric bolts in there or what? Break out the big guns. Yeah! I'm trying to get some of our factory holes to line up. Now obviously the whole thing's shifting back, but it looks like we may be able to get some existing holes, to line up. So our frame's kind of tweaked here, which is, they're just stamped like hell. Okay, so don't be surprised. Just kind of tweak that down. Two top ones, and I'll be damned. I did not know that. What about this side? Pick up on it. Boom, set that there. 1, 2. All right, they're a little tricky, but I got them started. We were up here. You can see where it's at. You can slide these straight back to those holes, that slotted one and that rear one. That gets you that lined up. And over here, those two line up. And down here. So these things are made to slide back from the factory. Now obviously that don't get us lined up with our mount, but we can weld off of this and add a tab, which I'm okay with doing because I want our pinion angle happy. If you didn't want to do that, you could try to pick up your transmission more because that mount would need to go higher. And then you could slide that possibly underneath there and make this work and just drill new holes. I say let's leave it there, and we know this is exactly where we need it. So now we figure out how to add a mount to this. Clean our cross member, and we'll do a little measuring. Just roughly show you 3.5 inches to our stud. So we'll go 4 1/4 overall length. Mount's about 2 inches wide, and we'll go with 2-inch wide strap, 1/4 inch thick. So by the time we add some bracing out on the side, 1/4 inch thick, that'll make it a total of 2.5 wide. If you're doing this yourself, guys, and you're going to be doing it in the driveway, small garage situation, maybe you can't cut and weld. I'm fairly certain if you Google you a cross member for these, someone makes them. So for a couple $100, I'm sure you can get you one that you'll have to drill some holes probably and it'll bolt in. Or they may make them without, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out my butt. Ta-da! Excuse me. Excuse me. Let that one cool off. All I did was go the 4 1/4 out, measure down, decide about 1 3/16 was as wide as we wanted. Then from the back side, I just went out 1 inch. Then I added a taper just because it looks better. Want that piece at an angle. I went too far from the bottom. I should have let it lean in a little closer. It's okay, that gap will definitely weld, no problem. No problemo. The biggest challenge is gonna be getting this side to match this side angle-wise. Do that. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it, tack it in place, and then bend it out till I'm happy. Might be a hair more. Don't break, don't break. It broke. That's good enough right there. She ain't perfect, but this is quick and fast, guys. Woo, baby, she's hot. We had damn dirt on fire. She is so hot. Just full welded the top out. The bottom, I'll be honest, I ain't too worried about. I do not think that's going anywhere. You dang right. Yes, sir. Cross member is bolted in. Factory cross member, little modification. She's sitting in. Cooler lines were super easy to hook up. Those are hooked up. Speedo cable, done hooked her right up. Hello, who's that? Oh, just my pal drive shaft sitting in place. That's right, even the drive shaft is good to go. We're not gonna tighten it down because we gotta pull it back out when we tear into the rear end. Guys, it looks like a lot of this stuff is able to hook right up. In fact, it looks to me like our shifter's gonna hook right up. So let's keep this party going. I knew this was a fairly simple swap. I didn't know crap like this would work. That's all new to me. GM did good putting that right there. I want to get our starter on next underneath there, but for that we got to drop our wiring back down and over. Before we drop that, I'm one of them there people. I'm one of them there people who like this wiring just wrapped in tape. I think it looks good. Looks a whole lot better than this old crusty crap that was on there. Of course, it's all brittle and half missing. So I'm just gonna wrap this harness up, get her looking good. But what about when it gets old and sticky and you gotta work on it and you're just making a mess, blah, 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 blah. Good thing you're not gonna have to work on it, huh? You're gonna get your little hands dirty. Just playing. Everyone who hates tapes, hit unsubscribe. I wrapped her all the way up until it goes into that trough up there. All right, put our 2 wires on the back, and don't forget to put your lead on there, 12-volt lead. We may have to change the angle on that. I should have done that before I hooked those up, because then I was fighting that. Scratched up our pan right there. For the great Houdini's next magic trick, I'll make it simply disappear. Hi-yo, guess who got more pain at the store this morning? What scratch? Ooh, smoke from the great Houdini. Next up, we'll slide in our beautiful exhaust. Oh yeah, me and Slick were laughing. So there's got to be some point where we transition from the nice to the not so nice, and for us that's going to be them exhaust manifolds. All right, get our hardware all started, then our exhaust gaskets, whoop, they slip on down in.
Didn't even drop one.
Nope, I didn't drop no bolts, no gaskets. I'm on a roll. He's on fire, everybody.
Way to do this right here.
I'm a damn innovator. No more broken studs, baby.
Yeah,
Every time we remove it, there's just a new slice, a new slice. Damn right. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I did pretty good on choosing where to cut those guys. If you remember, I cut those after I'd pulled the motor and transmission, so I was kind of flying blind. And both of them look fairly easy to get to, lined up perfect.
Got
Like
puddins.fab.shop exhaust work on her now.
damn right. Just follow her back down the rusty pipe we never replaced to the pie cut muffler because it's too big. Out back to the flat black.
Oh my gosh. I see what you're saying now.
To the flat black frame bedside rear end shock.
That's wild.
That's the Puddins Fab Shop exhaust and tune. Can't see. Put a little more heat in her. Not used to having a good tight fit on stuff. Apparently I need my flashlight. She's such a tight fit, it's hard to see the line once you get welding in there. So I walked her a little crooked, but she'll be all right. I welded, she helded. She smooth out. Igniter quit. This thing's got blower surge when you first start it. All right, got one butt connector there. That was for our fuel level, and it runs all the way to the fuel tank, so I did not pull that. I just cut her when we were removing all this. Zip tied it up there. Ow! Don't hit that with your head, you'll feel it. Zip tie along the frame. Put a couple zip ties on our lead for the battery and cooler lines and all that good stuff. Looks good. Nothing's rubbing or anything like that. Everything be easy to work on if we ever need to work on it. I got it in there, didn't I? I got it in there, didn't I? You're too busy building community. You even helped me this go around. Him's a good boy. Don't look so happy, dude. All right, we're gonna start building back better, baby. Easy stuff. Fuel line. Fuel line. It's gonna be huge. It'll go right on. Ground. New shiny bolt. Bring her to the water pump. Put her there, pal. Put her there. Is this bolt too long? Probably. Yep. Why wouldn't it be? One lock washer, problem solved. Yeah! Ha ha! We want to tighten all the obvious, easy to get to stuff, including that clamp this time. Here's the advantage of swapping over all we cut out on the engine stand, like our gauge, since we got our sender in there, or little adapter I mean. Just tighten that baby down, and we'll kind of try to just tuck her down and kind of not so up in the air. Now what Randy don't know is that, well, y'all may have seen it on Theodore's house. I did get him a shiny new LD Brock, and I did already slap our adapter for the 700R4 on there. Now this is where things may get a little tricky to just kind of glance at, because I was wanting to use this bracket for the TV cable, but it looks like the throttle bracket needs to bolt to something as well, possibly the carburetor. This carburetor's gonna have about 6.5 brackets. I can already tell you she ain't going on without the slice and dice. These don't match up, so we can cut that ear off. That right there hangs too low, we can cut that off. I'm not sure about that dowel. We'll get there. It'll fit with that dowel. The problem is, that's all the way back, and we gotta pull that almost all the way forward just to get her to hook up there. Now luckily, I think we got a solution. This universal thing you buy comes with all kinds of adapters, and that one right there is what we need for that. In fact, sliding that up right there is good. The only problem with these is like right there. Actually, that's gonna be good because we're gonna need to put a stud in here, tighten up a nut as a jam nut, then put that on and use a nylock. So look at that. Right there is gonna be good. If you don't want to use the jam nut method that I'm gonna use to space that over anyhow, I was gonna drill 2 new holes right in the middle. This way kind of makes sense though. Drill that out to 1/4-20, put my bolt in there. And that can slide on there. Yeah, that lines up good now. Yes, sir. I can tell you from experience, your time ahead, just pull this stuff off and tighten all this little hardware in your hands. By the time you get the flat washers, lock nuts, you'll drop them. Just pull it off and do it real quick. I could tell that sliding it all the way forward would work for us, so that makes adjusting it easy. Of course, if we need to, we can loosen them off and then adjust it. Oh, I just did that bass backwards. The cables ran in all the, gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. Don't pay attention to anything I say. Pull her back off, that's okay, I forgot a step. That material's so thick that them clips can't really spread, so you take a little of that material off and they should plop open. Yeah! All right, now we got cable that can actually go in. We've got that actually clicked in. I think we finally got it figured out. We'll need a return spring. Vroom, 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 vroom. Of course, return spring would have that happy. Throttle's good. Now off that same big bracket, we gotta have our TV cable. I still do not have my TV cable. I bought it this morning. They still ain't got it to me. So we move on. Some of y'all was wondering how I was gonna hook this fuel line up to this carbureting machine. We're gonna cut it. I don't know if my cutter can cut it. Yes. Yes, it can. I'm not gonna clamp that side because I bet this has to come back off. Bend that down a little bit where it ain't aiming up in the air so much. We'll take that. All right, let's see if we can flip-flop this right back into place.
Yeah, she's tight.
Make sure to put that belt on there. Well, I had it on there. Only problem is, apparently at some point it came from around the power steering pump, which is where it needs to be. Now it got flipped up. It should be flipped down. Means we gotta take that belt off. Then we're probably gonna have to loosen all this crap, because that's what you gotta do to get that power steering pump off. Belt. It's a whole thing.
I actually had done it. I just had to take that AC belt off and then flip it down, and then I was good. So everything's good. The exhaust blends the sides for the ugly. The front, the fan and the shroud's gonna blend the front for the ugly.
We're sitting pretty good. My wife just called me, which means it's about 3 o'clock, and I've got to empty the van real quick and deliver some stuff up to school. Take our canopies up there for them to use or something, I don't know. I just got to do the delivery. And I also need to make a run and get some plugs. Get a nice looking 1/2 incher. We need 1/2 inch threads to a 5/8 barb. Thought I got one earlier, but I got 3/8 threads. And back here we need 3/8 to a 3/8 barb for our power brakes.
Good morning.
La dee dee da 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 dee da.
Take 2. Good morning. Dropping tools already. Good morning.
Me, we're off to a okay morning. Got out here early again. I got 2 TV cables. They both came in. Shorter one I wanted to use is manufactured incorrectly. If we shove this cable all the way back, the bottom don't even come out of that, and we gotta be able to hook that to the little thingy down in there. That should stick out about 1 inch or so. So this other one I ordered, it's longer, so I put it on the bottom side, got it ran up here. Only bad thing with it, it's got a little extra cable, so it's just gonna swoop around. But our throttle cable does that too, so now it just kind of matches. I meant for it to look like that. Just kind of set up our TV cable the same way the throttle cable works. I didn't really want to show y'all. I've beat this dead horse 1,000 times, and we've got her on there pretty good. That bracket lines up pretty good. On the Model A, it didn't look like it lined up, but then on this one, I actually bolted it up, and it ain't awful. The only problem is I couldn't go far enough back because our throttle one's back there. So to be able to get some tension on this sucker, I need one of them cable stoppers. So we'll cut that crimp off. We'll add one of them brass stoppers where it's adjustable with the screw. And that'll let us get tuned out there. Other than that, we're gonna keep plucking away. Radiator hoses, slap the wiring on our alternator, no big deal. And next up, I got a bunch of plugs and stuff for the top of this manifold. Plug, plug, plug. Heater hose barb. There, right back here, feed that through. And we got a barb right back here. 3/8 thread to a 3/8 barb. Get everything on the carburetor locked down. Swap over the PCV, put the chrome jobber on the other side. Back there, everything's looking good. One big problem right now. I tried to take the spring, return spring, and start to figure it out. And this cable's so long, it's binding. So when I'm returning that, the cable ain't actually doing what it's supposed to do. So I did a little digging online, found someone who has one in stock that's the shorter one. So I get to go chase parts again. Ta-da! Hey, a cable that ain't 19 foot long, and guess what comes out the bottom? What's supposed to? Riddle me this, I don't know. This is for a 1990 Chevrolet Silverado, 700 R4 kickdown cable. That other one we got was for like a 1990 or 1989 Camaro. I don't know why one's different than the other if they're doing the same job, but I think this one will maybe work for us. Got our cable swapped out, and yeah, I think we're sitting good. Slap the return spring off our bracket right there, right down to the bottom. Vroom, vroom, baby. Next, we're gonna rebuild our ignition system here. Let's give her a quick little clean up, a little scrubbing, a little leaven. Our plug wires pretty well fall into place because we just pulled them off this rig. Looks like we are gonna have to change up these ones because this chrome thing is in the way now. It's all right, I got more zip ties. We'll just separate those wires, put a couple zip ties on the rear one, keep them separated. We're gonna zinc her up, get some zinc up in this thing. Get a little oil, get a little bit of that green stuff, get on down in there. Let's put some power back in the steering. A little pro tip, you want to put some of that all over your belt here, accidentally spill it, and then that'll lubricate your belt where it squeaks better. Going up. Had to stop, do a tool cleanup because I was lost looking for everything. Randy's here. He did not find his one tool set he was hoping to find, so we're just gonna have to old school it, not use a fancy tool, and that's okay, because most of y'all probably don't have that fancy tool. And I also say that's okay, because it ain't my truck, so if the rear end goes out, I'll be okay. How about you, Randy? Them boots were made for walking.
We got the AAA on the insurance.
Be calling AAA. This truck pudding belt, she left me on the side of the road again. Might need a little adjusting back there. No, they're working. Plenty of dust. Plenty of dust. Plenty of lash. Alright, you wanna go a little higher?
Yeah.
Here comes everybody's favorite smelling fluid. Smell good. Man, that stuff stinks. That looks good though. I think I serviced it. I think she was leaking. I can't remember.
It's got a new gasket on it, so.
Yep, I was in there then. Luckily, you got it all over your boots to help soak that leather and keep them good and agile. I rebuilt it too, so I got that blue paint on there. You know, weld them spider gears since we're here.
Oh yeah. Might as well.
Give her the good old Lincoln locker. 1443. 43 divided by 13. 3. Either way, you try it out like a 3.0 something year-ish. We got the numbers right there, but we can't do the math to figure it out. I was spitballing. We're going to a 373. What do we need to do next? Pull our axles.
Yeah, I'll get this pin out. Gotta pull this bolt. That'll let us pull that pin out. And then we can slide the axles out of it.
You know what? I did have an axle out of this, because I remember now. I think I put a seal on this side.
I think so.
Keeper bolt. Then the pin should just slide out, shouldn't it?
It should.
One way. It's pushing out the other way easy. Just playing. Now I'm ready to come this way.
There it goes. And I want to look at your pin there and make sure that there's not big grooves wore in that.
Too much wear.
Yeah.
Just a slight polish job.
This one feels pretty good.
There's one C-clip. Just shoving in over there. Boom. 2 C-clips. Voila. Axle removal. Just drag them splines. Good. Time to pull some end caps.
Yep.
Punch on that side. You want to do one on that side also? Randy, just punch this so we know which side goes to which. Like most things, guys, whatever you take apart, you usually want to put it right back together, and if it came off one side, put it back on that side. You put your hand there for 2 seconds and it got you. Ready?
Yep.
I got one. Here you go. What is it?
It's probably a good thing that we decided to do this.
Yeah, just a little lash. Little movement.
We're gonna find something broken in here.
It feels all right.
That one, not so much.
She's a little sloppy. You mean your bearing race ain't supposed to do the hula hoop? Material didn't look too shiny, like it was eating up anything. Guess you can't eat up what's already been ate. Only reason they ain't shiny is because I changed that fluid before you seen it.
We got a little lip right there, but it's not.
Yeah, right there's a better sign of what was probably in there. See how that's not liquid? How it just held its own shape? Get the magnet.
You can see the discoloration in the housing there where that bearing was getting hot.
Yeah. Just pulled that glop off my finger. Y'all see that? It's all metal shavings. Just a couple gentle love taps will do. Still seated?
Yeah.
Hey, I got it. About grabbed it, caught it with my nose. There's our crush sleeve and our pinion bearing and pinion gear and all that good stuff. We're replacing this, so we weren't too worried about them threads. As you could tell when Hulk got a hold of them. A little play on that one. Someone's been doing too many burnouts. What do you think, Theo? Is it looking good? She's made in USA. That's all I can read. Oh, that side of the little cage is kind of flat looking. Little flat spot. She'll run. Woo! Be scratching her up now. She's in there, huh?
Yep.
It's weird how using a proper tool will help the job. Probably not scratch up the machining in there near as bad neither. Oh yeah, like, oh, that was your mark. I was like, that thing scratched to hell. It was grease. Randy just put his hand over it. Ready for a blast. Plenty of fumes back here. Oh, big breath. Whoo! Looking pretty good. Just hitting her with that blast. Sure cleans it up good in here. Oh, there's our metal glop on this side. Man, that's a lot. That is a lot. We got axle tubes to do yet. I think we're gonna need a couple more cans. Up on this side, I'm just mining metal. Look at all that. We could melt it down and build our own bearing. Oh yeah, she runs further back on that side too. Clean out our axle tubes real good. Emptied a few more cans of the old brake clean. Randy said his kit came with everything, so we're gonna pop these out too. I think I shoved it in further, buddy. Now that one's good, about put a hole through the fridge.
Did it put a hole through your face?
Nah, I was too fast. It's gonna have to try harder if it wants to get me. Did yours just pop out that easy?
It did.
How are these bearings coming in here, Randy?
They're
Press fit?
BFH.
Someone was a good mechanic that have them little things that go in there, jaws that open up and grab that. Then they could hook their fancy slide hammer to it. Oh, there it is. I ain't got one. So what we're gonna do is, I actually used his calipers and measured up there, and then I took away just a little, so it's a little smaller than that. And then this in my little press kit checks out to be like right at the same size as that. So I'm gonna set this here, and we're gonna trace that. We're gonna cut her to length, and we're gonna round them edges. So we let this little device cool off. Little Rando's got us set up to pull this bearing off our pinion. Gotta get creative when your frame ain't wide enough. And luckily we ain't fighting her too hard. So our bearing's supposed to be loose enough where they sound like a Texas rattlesnake.
Oh yeah.
As I was doing some measuring over here for our little puller thing, well, Randy noticed that this race, of course he done busted her out of there, but that was already broken. What size shim is it? Does it say? That's what the calipers are for, I guess, so we can figure that out.
Yeah, it ain't got diddly on there. We'll measure it.
Like the lazy Susan for a table. I got the lazy pudding. Just have Randy spin it for me. If all else fails, just start tearing stuff up. Randy's answer to everything. This bearing was definitely getting ready to be on its way out. Boy, that's the most pitted one right there. Look, there ain't even no smooth part on it. So here's a little pro tip. If you're gonna cut your bearing, make sure where you go to end your cut is right there where that little notch is, where you can kind of cut through. And if you don't remember that, maybe you'll do it on accident like I just did. Think I gotta go deeper, but I'm scared. Not a very good chisel. There she went. All right, I grind her a little more and just been smacking on it. That last tap did it, and then a second last tap it broke. Last tap it spun some. There's one, and there's two. This side, we just throw up in the vise, able to get it. I had to shave a little more off. We didn't really account for the thickness tube. The thickness of the axle tube, because it is a little smaller than where that seats. So I shaved her down a little bit, but as you just seen, it works. I wonder if I can slip fit it. Now we can put our custom tool in our slide hammer kit, and we'll have it for now on. Because y'all know I rebuild a rear end about once every decade. Whoop. That's one of them fancy machines they have that lets the cameras pan. Now it's falling this way. Kind of low quality production we running around here. Bingo. Got it. They're not fitting. No, they don't slip fit. Bring the magnet, Randy. Uh-oh. That one didn't budge like the first one. A few more whacks and she'll go. Ring gear. Hey-o, we're gonna give it the NASCAR pit stop treatment. Don't hire us. Everyone's out on lap 3 or 3 laps after, except our guy. You got me 12 laps behind. Give that the double hammer slammer. With all the old off, it's time to start going back with some new. Of course, we cleaned our little carrier up with a can of the brake clean. We need to do a rear end more than once every decade, because then we'd use the press more than once a decade. Now for this last little bit, she needs to go down a little further, so we're using one of the races to just get it down past. She going? I see that press is leaking pretty good.
Looks like it may be down in the back, but there's still a little gap up here in the front.
All right, we repositioned and she went right down where we needed it. Perfect. A poor seal. We gotta clean the carrier again, get all the hydraulic fluid off of it. Little PL, preventative lubing. Now for a pinion shim, this old one, Randy was reading it right at 30 thousandths. Then right there on that little lip, there is a 2.9, so 29 thousandths probably. Here's a shocker. None of our kit came with a 29 thousandths.
So we got a 20 thousandths and a 10 thousandths. That's gonna get us right there at the 30.
If you pinch it hard enough, it'll go to 29.
Yeah.
Just push harder.
I think 1 thousandths is gonna be good enough. Go back over the press again.
You mean that don't just fall down on there?
No.
As long as we don't run out of fluid, we'll be good. Should be about there.
Pretty close.
I got tension. Well, I don't know if you can afford that hourly rate on this baby. You know, that's pre-2020. You want to see the post-2020 prices.
Yeah, that don't have.
That's
COVID.
cheap. Going crooked, Randy. Not off to a good start.
It'll straighten out.
I don't think it's straightening that. Looking pretty crooked. Can we tap her from the backside this way?
Yeah.
Moving. She's going. I think you just powered through. I was scared. She's going somewhere. She's moving, ain't she? It'll stop when it's there, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it just went a lot.
There's a flat. Okay.
I had to redeem myself on the front here. I felt it bottom out. She's there. Hit a home run on that one, folks. His kit came with the Timkins. Pretty good bearings, usually. There goes it. That's up front. Oh, she's ready to go. That baby is slick. Just don't want to go up top. About there. Ow, ow. You'd think after doing that for a few months now, I'd learn to quit hitting my head on stuff. We clean our splines up on our yoke as much as we can. What are you filing on, Randy? Something you gave a little extra smack or what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna clean out the backside just so the sucker ain't out of balance from all the dirt packed in there on one side. Goodness. That looks like Morchke's toothbrush after he finally brushes his teeth. She's rebuilt. Put some of that not yet available puddins.fab.shop Looby Dooby on it. Randy asked if I sprayed air freshener.
It still smells good.
Best smelling Looby Dooby in the game.
We can.
I say I don't even know this is gonna go down there. Next, we're hoping to get that started and be able to pull that through some. I don't think she's gonna happen, Rando. We're about flush. Hey, there we go. Maybe. Maybe a washer and a thread or two. Now this is the point where you should crush this down, but you don't crush it too far. And you check your rotational torque as you go, and you gotta have a rotational torque wrench that we don't have, by the way. So this is the part where we're gonna kind of wing it and hope for the best. Rotational torque, never heard of her. Oh, we're pretty close right there. There's hardly any lash in there. I mean, I just watched the number on here, and what I just spun it was the socket barely rotated. I mean, that wasn't even 1/8 of a turn. So if we just went from lash to no lash right there, we're pretty close to just touching.
It needs just a little bit, in my opinion.
And then it's supposed to have what, 10 to 12 foot-pounds or something?
Inch pounds.
Inch pounds?
Yeah.
10 to 12 inch pounds? We're we're playing with death here. Yeah, foot-pounds would be way too much. 144 inch pounds, just smoke it.
Those numbers are probably skewed, so
This is,
don't.
I mean, there's some torque on that though, because it ain't just.
You feel good about it?
You feel good about it back there? Feel like it needs a little more? So I watched that dot that time, and it just rotated the nut from right there up to there. So again, just a baby little turn. Oh yeah, that does feel better, actually, having a little bit.
Smoother the bearing.
Yeah. All right, that's it. We did good. See, I've never done a rear end like this where we got to kind of use our whatever better judgment. When I did one, it took me like 3 weeks to do it because I was very textbook. We ain't got 3 weeks, okay? We also don't have all the proper equipment, or we would do it proper, but here we are. Next, we're gonna heat things up a little bit. To get the ring gear down on the carrier, we either need to heat this up or cool down the carrier. We're gonna try to do both since I ain't got an oven to really get this thing toasty. I'm heating it up with the propane torch, and I slap the carrier in the freezer. Yes! Just enough. Probably only spent, I don't know, a few minutes with that torch. That was only in the freezer for 10 minutes, maybe.
Again, because the pinion dip's wrong.
Go! We didn't need that new race anyhow. A couple dents and dings never hurt.
It matches the housing.
We torqued the rest of them. What we need, some end caps?
Those shims.
One's thicker than the other.
Yellow.
Just eyeballing from back here. It looks like there's a bigger gap on that other side, but I guess that's the point of the shims, huh? Is to shove it where it needs to be. It don't seem like she wants to fit. I got a hammer.
We decided the yellow was thicker, or the...
Yep. It was one or the other. In bad shape?
They're in bad shape.
Well, we pulled that back out of there and we flip-flopped our shims, putting the thicker one on this side, and our mesh up there was feeling a lot better. Trying to tap this one in, it just feels too thick. Well, that's about 245 thousandths. And this rear end comes with a bunch of shims and this little adapter, blah, blah, blah. So I messed with them till we found some that's about 240. So it's about 5 thousandths less. Just got some backlash. We should check that. A minute ago, we thought that wasn't moving. We just shoved on her a little harder. So obviously if you shove that over and this starts connecting with your pinion too much, you're not gonna have backlash. Now we got backlash to try to aim for a tolerance too, of course, because we're so worried about tolerances. just been nailing them, ain't we? But that one being in there should only let that go over so much at the same time. So we got some backlash in there. We may not need that old variety pack of shims yet.
Put this at 0.
We gotta take it all the way one way though, right?
Yeah.
About 20 thousandths right now. We take less out on this side.
It needs to move over that way. So we still need to, we'll have to subtract from this side and add to this side.
Yep. Shift the whole thing over. I got some washers. We just put it between. No. 20 thousandths is too much. We're supposed to be like 5 to 10-ish. So we flip-flopped our things, shoving everything over tighter, because that makes sense. And now we are right at the 10 thousandths. And our theory is if we actually smack that sucker down in there and get everything torqued, it's going to tighten it up a little more. I hope so, because once it's down in there, I don't know if she's going to come back out. That sucker's tight.
It is. It's real tight.
Is it too tight?
I don't think so.
All right.
I mean, they make housing spreaders to get those shims in there super, super tight. So.
All right. I like it. Smack it in. Is that what I heard?
Give her hell.
So we swapped out our shims there. We went down to the 240 instead of the 244, 245, whatever those were. And now we are getting right at 6 degrees a lash consistently, which is a lot better than the 0 we had after we smacked them other ones in. Yeah, we tried the factory one and it was too much. You old girthy thing. Small problemo. Now that we torqued these caps on here, we're back down to about, I don't know, maybe 2 degrees a lash. So we're pretty sure that this over here needs to be a little thicker to shimmy everything that away. So we'll probably have to take a little out of there, add a little over here. We're gonna take an ass whipping. Trying to talk is what I'm trying to take. We're gonna take a little, give a lot, and eventually we'll get this thing whooped.
So what we ended up doing, we moved everything 5 thousandths over, and then we took 5 thousandths out of the total shim pack to get our
lash and
the lash correct.
That feeling good. Guys, before it felt awful tight. I think we had too much in it. So we ended up with what, 245?
245 here, and then 225 on this side.
So that shifted and took away the 5, like we said. And then if we were to set that up, it's a 6 again, which is good. That's good. And then it sure rotates a lot nicer. Before you could just feel it. Not in a good way. Not what you wanted to be feeling. So are we good? Other than some spider gears and other than, are we just gonna skip the paint? Check that pattern.
The hell with it, man.
Hell with it.
It ain't coming back out.
We eyeballed it and said it feels good. That's good enough for us.
A picture on my phone of a good pattern. We'll show that.
You got a picture saved?
Yeah.
Guys, the battery died, but we got a photo of a good, or of the pattern, not a good pattern. So here's the hooky puck. You're gonna paint some teeth front and back. Pot County yellow, pretty typical teeth around here. So with their teeth painted, you wanna roll around to your pinion. We can go back and forth, right? About 100 times. And once it goes around, you can come back and you can kind of read it. You kind of just want to see it out in the middle area, kind of both ways, right?
Yep.
That actually looks pretty good.
See, we're not right out on the edge, and we're in and in.
I mean, for a quick Pot County rebuild with not too much technicals, I'm pretty happy with that pattern. It'll run until it don't.
Yep. It's better than the busted bearing that was in it before.
Luckily, we left that yellow paint right there for Randy to rub sand all over. Rotating it that way before he started would have been too hard. Don't forget that one.
Oh, yeah.
Very quickly, Randy's going to slap our spider gears back in for us.
Is this compatible with your old?
Sure. Right. Well, we got her whooped now. All right, we got her all tightened down. You happy?
I like it.
All right, as you can see, she's down on the ground. The rear end is all buttoned up. Rando slapped the cover on, serviced it, so he did that. I got her torque converter bolts in, slapped a nut on the trans mount, got her set down. He just topped off transmission fluid. I did a little adjustment on our spring over here. I think everything's about ready to start. The only thing I didn't hook up that we need to is our electric choke setup, but I'm not too worried about that right now. Right now, I'm hoping this thing's about to fire up for us. First time I've ever heard it run. You heard it run in a video or in person?
In person.
Okay, so we'll have to obviously set time and kind of tune on it, get it happy. Let's see if she's gonna bust off for us.
Here we go. I don't remember ever hooking up the HEI.
That'll get it.
Should probably run better if we get 12 volts going to that. Now let's try it. It'll probably also help if we hook up the other part of the HEI. I'm anxious to start it. I'm missing stuff. That ain't good.
What the hell, over? I had it set at compression, stroke, top dead center, pointing. Well, that could have went better. I don't know. Y'all seen it. Y'all seen me put the plug in there, spin it till it popped it out, take it to top dead center. I guess that plug was able to move on exhaust stroke. It don't add up. I do it like I always do it. Just pulled number one, put my finger in there, had Rando bump it, psh, 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 pull it out. Hey-o, guess who's pointing towards the back? Happens to the best of us. I actually meant to do this. Just for a hypothetical situation, you could put yourself in, okay? Our marks are lined up dead nuts perfect. We were 2 degrees off. We spun her by hand just a hair. It's on the money now. Maybe it was the installer. Yep, fill right in. You could probably come with tooth if we wanted. Guess it don't matter. We got plenty there. Pull it out. She plopped right back down in.
Does that need to be tightened?
This has one of them custom flop distributor rotor caps. Rotor bug 940s. Boy, everything on that feels loose though. Yeah, I guess if you torque it, it feels better. I didn't even think to check that, guys. This was the rotor or the distributor Randy brought. So I guess I was just kind of thinking the one out of the truck was good. I didn't even put eyeballs on it.
Button all that back up, and let's see now if maybe if it not being 180 out, it'll start.
Sure is high idling, like got a bad vacuum leak or something. Sure hope that intake manifold ain't leaking and sucking air. So, we got something going on with our choke here. It's got this little thing that flips down to hold it, to choke it some, to idle it up, whatever. So that, I don't know why that's not doing proper stuff. And then that must have been flip holding that back some. So then I set our throttle up with that bump forward a hair. So now all of this is gonna be a little wrong. Perfect. Sounds pretty good for not timing it right there though. Dang right.
Rev's good. Sounds good. It's not noisy.
Idle's good, just don't hook up the throttle or restart it.
Yeah.
Whoa, little poppity poppity.
Now for timing, guys, I like to just always see where our rotor's pointing, which I knew for this one, we were aiming right towards the corner of that carburetor. So I want to get back there. We were too far, what's that, advanced. So then I took her back some and got her lined up where she looks good. She's idling good. It was a little revved up, so I had to idle it down on the carburetor. Right now it sounds really good right there. Sounds powerful. Dies, fires right up. She's pretty close right there. I mean, we're damn near sitting up out of the green. She is bouncing a little bit. And she's pretty good on her mixture screws. To get it to idle down, we had to adjust the screw that actually kicks out for that choke. It was just ran in like way too much. I've never had one do that. This has electric choke. We fired it up, no problem. No, the electric choke does not have to be hooked up, guys. If that was the case, if someone was driving and say they blew a fuse that powered their electric choke, now all of a sudden their only option is they have their motor at 2,500 RPMs, Edelbrock would be in all kinds of lawsuits. They just sent that thing funky. First one I've ever had out of the box that wasn't just pretty well ready to go. Check our vitals, sitting right at 180 on temp, 40 PSI oil pressure at idle. I think that's more than the old motor. I don't see any major leaks coming that I know of. You gonna back her out? Oh baby, yes sir, yes sir. Damned old hot rod ain't got a hood on it. Feel a little different? Way lower in first. Your 700 R4, you're gonna have a lower first gear, and then of course dropping the 373s, it's got all the low gear. Oh yeah, right through that mud from the rain earlier. Slapped the wagon breather on real quick just where we can protect her and go up and down the road. Well, first drive here, Randy had to cut out of here since it's 7:30, but I'm gonna take her to town and back. He did take her to the end of the driveway and back, and could almost hear something sound rotational, like a tick tick tick. I ain't got it since I've driven it. I heard it, I was with him, but I ain't got it. Maybe it just liked him. All right, let's give her some gas here. Running good, shifts great. Catch that new truck in front of us real quick. Downshift, pull the hill with plenty of power. Overall, it feels pretty good. Nice worn out hood hinge, just a flapping in the wind. Speedo gear is incorrect for sure. We're going 60 and it says we're doing 80. We get up to 70 quick. All right. A little overdrive difference there, running 75 to 80, no problem. I hear a little bit. I'm wondering if it ain't the Speedo cable. I did have to move the Speedo cable. Wondering if I didn't maybe put it in a crunch or something. Oh yeah. That's way better than it was before. I can kind of hear something now. Wondering if it ain't the Speedo cable. Rear end ain't whining. We must have did pretty good back there. Oh yeah, easy driving on the rear end until you break her in for the first 500. Wonder if he wants to race. Whoop whoop whoop. We finally caught the Oklahoma wild man here in Polk County. Well, cruising in town here, so I had to bring her by the car wash. Man, this is a good looking truck, guys. Every time I get it out here, that good lighting as the sun goes down, just looking at it, make me want to drool. What y'all think? Not shabby for old dented up abandoned long bed, huh? Look underneath the hood now that I pressure washed the firewall and stuff. Looks a lot better, I think. Of course, we got more to come on this thing. As far as doing the tubs and stuff, we'll see if it makes it back on the channel. The electric choke, that's just running a wire through the firewall down to the fuse box. I ain't too worried about showing that. Bolting on the hood, I mean, it's bolting on the hood. Also not too worried about showing that. So whether we get time to do the tubs, I don't have time to stay on it through the weekend or next week. We're already booked out on our recording schedule. But we got a lot done on this thing this week. I mean, that
think this right here is a Sonic rig if I've ever seen one. Get us some mango water anyhow. Hey, this stall don't work. Shocker. None of them ever do. America's Drive-In. Get it together. It's alright, we need to test reverse gear anyhow. Lay down on this super sticky, smelly floor. Or concrete. Man, that smells great. Oh my goodness. Just looking for obvious leaks. Just about got ran over behind me. Don't worry about that. I don't see nothing, so we're good. Oh yeah, bust right off. Get the old cup with easy ice. You gotta give her the shake like Uncle Rick. You gotta check Uncle Rick's cup though. It probably don't just have Dr. Pepper in it. It may have a little something mixed in if he's doing this. Hey, there's the old house. Hey, old house. Them yard, man. I'm coming home to you. Ooh, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, pull, baby, pull. Yes, sir. I'm super happy right now. Truck did great. I know what noise Randy was hearing when he first left, but I didn't really get that. It was a little louder, so I don't know. To me, it sounds like a speedo cable. I halfway want to put this thing in the air and unhook it and do it down and back and see. But for today, I'm going to call it a wrap. Like I said, the tubs, I don't know what else. There ain't that much more to do on this. I mean, electric choke we can hook up in 10 minutes. So, I don't know. We'll see if you guys see the truck again on here for some work. Because now we've cut her down. We've, of course, made all the paint stuff pretty, slammed it down, rebuilt suspension, brakes. Now has a rebuilt rear end, freshened up transmission, all rebuilt with overdrive, hubba. And then slap in a Craigslist rebuild small block Chevrolet, except it was actually rebuilt. They just did a bad job on the making it pretty part. So it's got a pretty fresh motor in it. I mean, she's got all the vacuum, okay? It pegs her out of the green. She got all the compression. You can hear it when it revs. Really, this thing needs the hood slapped back on, and you know what it could actually really use, and I feel like I can tell this driving it, it needs some better exhaust. I feel like the exhaust is holding it back. It's a bird. You gotta let it fly, baby. So with all that being said, thanks for watching my entirely long movie here. I know this is a lot that happened, but I wanted to thrash this week and get as much done as possible for Randy, where once again, he didn't have to worry about it. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the GMC back on here. Guys, if you had something like this, break it up in a period of a month or two and make it happen. Go, hey, this weekend, I'm gonna get the old stuff pulled out. The next weekend, I'm gonna just clean and paint stuff because I know it takes a lot of time. And then, you know, the weekend after that, maybe, hey, let me get it stabbed in there into place. And then the weekend after that, I'm gonna get everything hooked up. And then the weekend after that, you work out the bugs or whatever. Doing a overdrive swap into a truck like this is very doable. Sure, LS motors are great and everything. I love them. We're putting one in another square body right now. But there's nothing wrong with this combo. Now Randy is set up to be able to get out there and just run down the interstate and have a great driver. This truck is a great driver. So thank you guys for all the support over the years. Y'all being here and supporting is what has made like doing this for Randy possible. It means the world to me just to be able to do it for him. And Randy, I hope you like your truck. Randy don't show it on his face a lot, but he's tickled pink. When he backed out, he was grinning pretty good. Or whenever we first started going, whatever. Just thank you guys. puddins.fab.shop.com for all the good quality merchandise. We appreciate all the support there. That also helps keep this dream alive. And much other than that, we got channel memberships now where I just kind of post sneak peeks in there. That's it. It's just kind of a good way for y'all support if you want to support that away. And other than that, we're on the Instagrammer, on the Facebook. I'm on the Patreon. And I will see you guys next time. However, do not forget, sitting on your ass will not finish your project. I'll see y'all in the next one.